And today I'm going to talk about what is called the Cape Corse. The Corsican island has a little bit of a tip at the top, which is called the Cape. And I took a trip on a minibus with 7 other people, and we went around the Cape, and it was absolutely gorgeous because it's so different. The rocks are different, the type of houses and the villages is very remote. This was a beautiful thing to do, so I definitely recommend if you're in Bastia, it's pretty easy to book a trip around the Cape Corse. At some places, I really thought, where am I? It looks very like I'm in Brittany because the houses are made out of stone, and our guide took us to places tourists don't really go. So this was pretty amazing. It was a perfect place for photography because you had this atmospheric place with villages, maybe 1 or 2 houses, then you had a little bit of fishing boat. One of the places I went, I really loved because there was a cafe and the guy had a really great sense of humor. It was just typical Corsican humor. We went to places like Erbalunga. On the Cape Corse, there used to be a lot of Corsicans who immigrated to South America and they made a fortune there. Then when they came back to Corsica and they built beautiful houses, beautiful villas, and these were called Maisons des Américains. You're going to see along the coast beautiful villas, gorgeous places. Every place is kind of different. I definitely loved the side on the west a bit more because it was more remote. You had these beautiful villages. On the other side, you have gorgeous places like Erbalunga, which you can't miss. I'm going to take you on a tour, places you want to visit, but also what you want to photograph. Stay tuned with me. I'm going to take you on this ride and we're going to talk about travel and photography. So in this video, I'm going to take you around beautiful rugged coastline and mountains plunging into the sea. We started on the west side, and the west side is definitely more wild and more rugged. First stop we had was the Col de Tegim. This was a battle at the height of World War II. It was a perfect viewpoint to have a view of Bastia. Our guide explained to us that the Germans tried to invade Corsica, but they never managed. They would stop straight away at Tegim. Stopped at a small beach which was called Plage Nègre. I was pretty stunned by the landscape because nothing there said Corsica. Here I felt like I was wondering, is it like, it sounds like even Scotland or Cornwall or somewhere on the Atlantic coast or even Brittany. There were a few people walking on the beach. It just looked so cinematic, so dramatic. I had my analog camera with me, loaded with Kodak Ektar 100, and I knew that I wouldn't take many photos, but they would all be stunning because I was really looking forward to go around this landscape. I didn't really know much about the west side of the Cap Corse. I was a bit more familiar with the other side. This was a beautiful village set in the Maquis, and the landmark of the village was the church Sainte-Julie. I walked up to the tower and so I had a beautiful view not only on the village but also on the Café du Village de Nonza. I loved the color tones of the church. I also had a panoramic view in the Maquis, as you can see in this photo. Beach is dark. It was black beach, and I thought, I don't think there's any volcanoes. I've never heard of volcanoes in Corsica. These stones were residue from a close by asbestos factory which was located in Canary. Our guide explained to us, in this region of Corsica, the stone are mostly white, but they darken at the contact of water. The beach displayed a beautiful graphic with patches of red. It was nearing lunchtime where we made another stop in another fantastic place, which is called the Marina de Scalo. This is a marina attached to the village of Pino. This place was even more stunning than the Plage Nègre because this was a village with a small harbor. First walk around the beach and the village. I loved the patches of colors on the beach, colorful kayak. I took a walk towards the main alleyway, walking by beautiful gardens overgrown with blooming pink laurel trees. That place would have felt like cut out of a beautiful magazine. Pure bliss. For a moment I imagined myself living there, walking to the harbor every morning, maybe diving into water. How would that be? It sounded amazing. I joined the rest of the group for my tour for coffee. This place was just so stunning. I hope I go back there one day. It was just so beautiful, so wonderful. We reached the next stop. Top of the hill you have a windmill, and it's called the Mattei Windmill. In fact, the Mattei family bought this windmill for advertising of their liqueur, which is called the Cap Corse. So this is a famous family because they created liqueur Cap Corse. It's made from muscat and quinine. When you're in Corsica, instead of asking for an Aperol Spritz, ask for a Capo Spritz. So on the west side, we went to Macinaggio. Macinaggio is one of the largest ports in the country, so it's much more developed than other villages. It had restaurants, it had shops. Our guide even recommended, if you wanted to go and buy some olive oil. I love to photograph the fishing boat, and the sky was just so beautiful. You had absolutely gorgeous reflection of the boat into the sea because the sky was quite dark. I couldn't wait to reach Erbalunga. When I was on holiday at my aunt in Corsica, usually when you had people coming over to visit, we would always go to Erbalunga. And it's a place I visited many times, and the last time was with my children, which I'm displaying a photo here. It's a beautiful village, only 10 kilometers from Bastia, so it's easy to reach. You have the narrow street, the covered passage. And I can't mention the Cap Corse without mentioning La Maison des Américains. What is this about? Yes, as you travel around the Cape, you will spot grand villas, maybe abandoned villas, painting in tropical colors, pale pink. In fact, these are called the Maison des Américains, and most of them are abandoned. They tell a poignant story about ambition, exile, and homecoming. In the early 20th century, a lot of Corsicans migrated from the Cap Corse to South America, and they became quite rich. It shows Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Mexico. Many were seeking fortunes in coffee, cocoa, sugarcane plantation, and when they returned home, they returned with a lot of money, often after decades abroad. But they built a villa, keep a colonial style. You have some in the village of Pino, Century, Rogliano, Luri. I didn't have the chance to see any of them. In Erbalunga, you have the hotel Castel Brando, stayed in one of these villas. You can even eat at the restaurant called Les Américains. This trip around the Cap was wonderful. The rugged landscape, the isolated marina like Marina de Scalo, everything created a beautiful scene in my camera. So if you're planning your own journey around the Cap, take your time, maybe stay overnight in one of the villages, or maybe even stay at the hotel Castel Brando, eat some lobster in Century, and walk the coastal path to let the peninsula really work its particular magic on you. This place is pretty photogenic. Thanks a lot for watching. Thank you. Bye-bye.